All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Ken Big Blake with kenbigblake.com. I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this best series, Inc. Fund Partner. This week, what we're going over is the funding fundamentals, business credit and funding without your personal credit score. We also will be going over those who have great scores. They'll have resources available as well. All right, for those of you who don't know me, you can find out more information about me on my website, Mr. Ken Big Blake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some of those different things, and we're going to get started. So the way this is going to work, guys, is that the first thing I'm going to do is just go through the content. That's going to take normally 15 to about 20 minutes. Once I've finished going through that content, then we'll be open for questions for the remainder of the session. All right, so with that said, I'm going to share my screen. So that we can get started. All right, and so until later, I'm going to disappear for a while. All right, guys, great. So as I said, if you want to find out a little bit more about me and what qualifies me as well to share these classes, you can find all that information on my website. You can go to kenbigblake.com, or you can go to mrkenbigblake.com because the site has been updated. What I do, streamlining your mission to accomplish your goals. I help you save time, money, and point out ways your business can earn more revenue with fewer systems. So kenbigblake.com, you guys can scroll down, and there's a little bit of the history of my experience, what my expertise is in. Now, I'm not an expert. I just happen to make sense. So anything that you want to know about me, you can go there and you can find out all of the different resource guides I have that assist you and the different tools I use for running my business. Now, for those of you who have joined us for the Best Series Inc. Fund Partner, you most likely went to bestseries.business, or you may have found us through the businesssuccesschannel.com, or some of you may have even found me through my own personal website. So Best Series Inc. Fund Partner, for anybody that you want to share this information with, this is the website that you want to send them to. It's going to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen. Part 1, incorporate. Part 2, funding. Part 3, partnerships. If you know of someone who you'd like to go into business with, or who has a corporation, you want to make sure that they come through this process, because there may be some things that we have that they don't necessarily have set up in their corporation that they're going to need in order to, really take advantage of the funding that's out there available for them. Right? Okay, good. Now, once they go there, they'll go to the same registration form. And these are the different ways, but all of these will take you to the same registration form that you guys filled out, which led you to the success page. So once you guys got to the success page, you're able to log into the meeting. Now, the meeting is going to cover funding your business. So when you guys went to the page, bestseries.business/business funding, this is where you guys need to be to follow me. And this is where you guys need to be in order to download the PDF that takes you through all of those steps. So after I go through this, and it'll be rather quickly, at least you'll have that guide to look through, but you'll also be able to see this live on our YouTube channel for a few days. All right. So when you download this manual, this is what the manual looks like. It's 6 pages. And it has everything that I'm going to go through on the website. So make sure you download that manual, and it's also going to bring you here to our credit repair channel, which is the same password that you guys receive for the business success channel. Now, the reason why we're sharing this credit repair channel is because when I get to that page, I'll share with you why that's a necessity for you guys to also have access to. All right, so with that said, let's scroll down. All right, so we have a few videos on this channel that's going to be able to assist you. So what you want to do when you go to the credit repair channel, even though it's built for your personal credit and all the steps needed to increase your score, we still cover business credit on it. So right now I'm going to go to that particular channel and you'll see what's there. So the password is the same password that was sent in your email for the business success channel. So what you're going to do when you go to types of credit, you'll see business, personal, revolving, and installment. But you want to click on business. When you click on that business, you'll see it's protected. So you'll put that password in, it'll open up. And then this is some of the things that I learned from YouTube, as well as things that I didn't learn to assist you. So this is one of the first ones. So if you're a lifelong learner, you want to learn, and sometimes you may need that visual. And this gentleman may raise this in 9 months, but that's because he had a bona fide business already. So it was easy once he learned to unlock business credit, right? So that's what that channel is about. So once you go there, you put that password in, you will have those videos. And if you're also interested in your personal credit, there's resources on there that can assist you for free as well. All right, so these are facts you guys should know. You can have bad personal credit and still be approved. You can get business credit without a personal guarantor. You can be in business under a year. You must have an EIN, employer identification number, and you have to pay your loans. And some of those loans may have grants included. So after you're using a certain amount of the money you've been paying on time, they may say, okay, you've got $10,000, but 2,500 or 5,000 of that, we're going to turn it into a grant. So you're really just going to pay us back on 5,000. But you just have to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Now, those are facts you should know. Now, these are things you should know. You need a minimum of 2 accounts, and you need about 3 payments done to get a paydex score. So a paydex score is similar to what's your, when you go to Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, you have personal credit scores. Those are the 3 agencies. But a paydex score, that's for business credit, and that's normally a system that's set up at the moment by Dun & Bradstreet. Now, another thing you should know, number 2, you must be in it for the long haul. This is not a get success quick. This is something that's going to take time. Just like number 3 says, miracles don't happen overnight. So if you're in it for the long haul and you do this step by step, within 6 months, within a year, especially within 2 years, you will be in that particular arena where it's going to be easy for you to get the type of funding that you need to make things happen, right? So part of that is you're going to need to control your business budget. And number 5, which is, this is why we give you access to the credit repair channel, you need to work on your personal credit. If you have a 300 score, a 400, or a 500 score now, you need to try to be within 700, 750 within 2 years so that you'll even be able to do more. People who already have personal great credit, they're going to be able to be a guarantor for their business, and they're going to be able to get more, especially like a conversation I had earlier. The key is 2 years and a great credit score and showing that your business has been making money. But that doesn't mean you can't have a bad score and still get funding in 30 days or under 6 months, which will come in the form of credit. Now, what makes sense? Those in business under 2 years will receive less funding. Those with bad business budgeting will receive less. You want to register your business on your personal credit profile. Just like when you check your credit, it'll say, they'll ask you questions like, have you ever worked at Johnny Skyrockets? And then once you say, oh yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, now we know that this is you. So you also want to make sure that you can put that personal credit on your personal credit profile the business that you are a CEO of or president. Now, for those of you who have a score that's 700 and above, uh, you can apply for that business credit using your personal score. You know, it's going to help you out. You're going to get approved for more and less time than those who, you know, don't. And you must have a business bank account. That makes sense. Now, I have some terms here that you want to familiarize yourself if you're in business. I don't have the definitions to these terms because this is something that you need to look at and take it upon yourself to get those answers. Could I have easily put the definition up there? Absolutely. It would take us longer for me to get through them. Paydex score, net 22, net 30, NAV.com. You can actually go there. Net terms, gross profit, cash flow, fixed asset, intangible asset, bootstrapping, which most of you have been doing. And that bootstrapping term is basically you funded your business. You didn't get money from a loan. You getting money from relatives. You did everything. That's bootstrapping. Now, debt service coverage ratio, equity financing, microloan, SBA paycheck protection loans, SBA disaster relief loans. You want to think about this one. And the 1% 10 net 30. You'll be able to find all those definitions, but they're definitely going to help you when you're looking for funding and knowing some things. So now this is what you guys are here for. The steps to take for your funding fundamentals. All right. So here, step one. So the first thing you guys are going to do is you want to get your appropriate business SIC number. That's a standard industrial classification. You may say why, or I've never heard of that, or I don't need that for what I'm doing. But you'll be surprised at some of the lenders who may ask you for this SIC. And especially if, depending on the business you're in, you're going to be looking for government contracts. So because it's free and it takes 5 to 15 minutes at the most, that's something that you want to do. When you click that link, it's going to take you to this page right here. Right? So you can enter a keyword or number about SIC codes. If you're a fast reader, you can read through this, you can browse a list, and then you can figure it out and you can write that code number down for your business, right? Now, the next thing is you're going to click here for your NAS, North American Industry Classification. That's your NAICS. When you click on that link, it's going to take you here. Now, some people will say, well, why do I need the SIC number if the NAICS is the number that has replaced it? Because even though this has replaced it, some businesses still want to know that SIC. They're still old school. And so we know about old school. You know, people still want to use fax machines. We're way past the fax era, but we still use them. So the North American Industry Classification System, the NAICS, this is similar, and it'll show you how to find it. So you can do a keyword search with your business, but the SIC is going to help you. The Standard Industrial Classification System, remember the CIC? This is replacing it, but they still use it. But on that first website, it shows you how to translate that over to this. Again, 5 to no more than 15 minutes for you to be able to get both of these classifications. Because once you figure it out on one, it's that much simpler to figure it out on the second one. Now we'll start getting to the things that people are more familiar with. So once you do that, you want to click here for 411. List your business. Remember the first one, you already got incorporated. You already received your employer identification number. You've already received your bank account. You've already bought the domain name that goes for your business so that you can have a web presence, but you want to list your business for free with 411. Back in the old days, we would call 411 to find out about a business number, or 311 for a certain service, or 911. So click there. What's going to happen when you click that is you're going to wind up here. Listyourself.net, be found in the 411 directory assistance. Now, the last time I did this, it was free. Here are the steps to get listed. It's real simple. but people will be able to find you on the internet because you definitely want to be found every way that you can be found. Now we're going to get into what you guys definitely know and have heard about, which is your DUNS number, right? So you're going to check to see if Dun and Bradstreet already created one for you. So you can get your DUNS number and at the same time check to see if it's already been created. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to this website right here. Get your Dun and Bradstreet, right? Now, so let's say primary reason, you have a US based business, right? That's for most of you. Some people may be on here that's in Canada, or they're a US government contractor, an Apple developer. It doesn't matter. Your DUNS number, one of these you're going to fall under for the most part. I have a US based business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my information in and it'll show you what it looks like if you already have one, right? So when I hit search, street address, put the address that when I received this number, where I had it. I'm going to have to change that so people won't call me on my personal cell. So then what happens, it'll show you all of the different Blake investment groups. So if one of these is yours, which you can see here, this one's mine, it'll definitely have that with me. And then I can have that DUNS number emailed to me, or I can view and edit my company information. Now, if you're not on there, the information that I placed in that form, that information is going to allow me to receive a DUNS number. I'm not going to send you to share the email, have it emailed to me and show you what it looks like, but definitely that's where you need to go. So that's going to show if you already have one or if you have to do one. Right now, after you do that and you got that DUNS number, that email that you're going to receive from Duns and Bradstreet is going to give you access to this here program, Credit Signal, right? So Credit Signal looks like this. It's going to give you a login. It's a paid service, but you don't need to pay for this right now. You may not even need to ever pay for this, but it'll show you what it looks like and what other businesses, what they're going to see. So like, let's look here, view a sample report. So it'll have your company name, your paydex score, if it's approved, if it's went down, you can log in to view your report, how many inquiries, all these different things right here that help you, right? And that's similar to what this is going to do, but it does a lot more. And it's going to be 14 days for free. I suggest that after your first 90 days, when you've completed, well, really 4 months after you've made 3 payments to the vendors that you'll find, which I provided a list of good sites with a lot of good vendors. But with anything, I'm going to suggest that you also do your search, because you may find something that's not on my list that works for you. All right. So now, understanding your business credit. Most of us, we definitely know what involves our personal credit. But business credit is it's a different category, but it's still credit. So as a lifelong learner, which most of you are that come to these workshops, you're going to do some research yourself. So when you hit that link's going to take you here, back to Dun and Bradstreet, because Dun and Bradstreet is actually the company that sets up the paydex score for you. All right, so read this article. It's going to tell you all of the different things that's needed that you have to think about, because remember, you're in this for the long haul. So you're going to be learning some things so that you just don't get all the information from somewhere else. You also want to learn and take notes. All right. Now, what I did was I created a simple spreadsheet, because when it was time for me to start applying for these different companies, I needed to keep track. So right here, step number 6, Click here to download a funding resource tracker. You don't have to use this one, but you can click it and you'll definitely see it. But I suggest do something, but have a list so that you can, when you're going through these different companies, you can have that resource uh, by hand. Okay, so now step 7. You already have your employer identification number. Now remember, you're not using your social unless you have to. Anything that's asking you for your social, you want to stay away from if your score is not a certain score. Now, because of the pandemic, it's safe to say that at a 700, it's fine. But now you will see when I click on these links that some of these you can have a lower score, and it's fine to use that, because remember, not only are you building stuff for your business, but you're also going to be trying to build your personal credit at the same time. Okay, so here, use your EIN to apply for business credit. So I have cards that you could apply for, lenders that you could apply with, or vendors. So when you click on the one for cards, it's going to take you to this article, but you can also Google best business cards for startups without personal credit or with, right? So this is with and without a personal guarantee. So as you scroll through this here resource, it'll share with you different things. Like for instance, okay, this one gives you points back, right? So if you have credit, because it does say credit needed, it needs to be good or excellent. So we're going to consider good 700. The annual fee, there's 95. You got a regular APR, 15.99 to 20.99 is variable. So that may not be a good fit if you're trying to get this without putting no money out at all, and if you don't have good or excellent credit. So you can apply now. But as you scroll down, you can see here again, good or excellent, right? 0% intro APR on purchase for your first 12 months. This is something that you might use and move into another card, right? Same thing with the APRs, they're pretty high, right? Application terms and details. Capital One, that's not available right now. Blue Business, it tells you also 12 months with 0% APR. Now you can click on some of these and it'll tell you if if it's something that you can use, because you may not want to because of your credit score, right? Wells Fargo, American Express. Now, so some of these, of course, we know, like look at this one, 295 annual fee. Some of these we already know that they're going to be based off of your personal credit, but you have to actually go up in there to see what you can do. So like here, this is a personal guarantor. If your company has less than 5 million in annual sales or revenues, because remember, you want your company to start making money. If your company is less than 2 years old, you have fewer than 10 employees, is a partnership or proprietorship, right? So basically, so long as your company makes over 5 million a year, is more than 2 years old, has more than 10 employees, and is filed as an LLC or corporation, you're good to go. And you can get a Sam's Club business credit card for that, right? So these are all the different people who can apply. So those are the credit cards. And like I say, be detailed in your Google search. In your Google search, you may want to say with no personal guarantee and uh, no monthly fees. So once you leave that, you'll go to lenders. So when you click on the lenders, and the same thing, you want to actually Google that. So this here is a little bit better for lenders, right? So it's telling you what they have here. And here you've got to be in business at least 12 months, a monthly revenue of 8.5 thousand, and a minimum credit score of 600. So all of these have different things. Monthly revenue under 6 months, 12 months, 12K, 2 years, 10K. But it has credit scores. Monthly revenue 4.2, Monthly revenue here, no minimum, but your minimum credit score has to be 660 and you have to be in business for 2 years. Some of you guys may have already been in business over 2 years and have revenue or no revenue, but you can see the revenue amounts that they want. So what you might want to Google is some that require no revenue, at least 6 months or less. Now, lenders and the credit cards, those are going to be the ones that they may want a little bit more than what you're available to do, depending on your financial situation. And that's why we also have vendors. They are the easiest to get credit for from with bad credit, and it helps build your credit so that you can start taking advantage of additional money, correct? So now here are the vendors. So I have 7 vendors. There's a net 30 account. So that's going to share with you exactly what a net 30 account is, right? So here we go. Shirtsy. You have to be in the US. You have to be at least 90 days old, no derogatory credit or delinquencies, and must have an EIN, a tax ID for business, right? So Shirtsy, they're saying no derogatory credit or delinquencies. They may ask for your personal credit score, right? And they're saying take your time. The address and your EIN are most important. You do a typo, your application can be rejected. Now, Crown Office Supplies, they're not real big on the credit or anything like this. Unless you have a business with excellent business credit, you have the 99 annual fee can be waived, right? The annual fee is reported to the credit bureaus as well, which can also supplement the business credit history. Creative Analytics, you have to be US based. You need your tax ID and your DUNS number. You have to be in business at least 30 days and no derogatory business reporting or delinquencies, right? And the person who fills out the application must be an authorized officer of the organization. So if you're the CEO, there's not a problem, right? The annual fee here is $79. You can get up to $10,000 trade line boost, and they're also reporting to Equifax and Credit Safe. Uline, everybody normally gets a Uline thing once they form a corporation. They just automatically send it. And you can qualify for a credit line there and just buy some things. Because remember, you're building your business credit. Even if you're making a lot of money already in your business, you still want to start building business credit, right? Quill, they have a net 30 term on your invoice. Granger, Nav, and Tips for Success. Now, are these the only deals out there? No, there's a lot of deals out there, but these are just 3 resources that I provided that can give you an idea. But there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, and there's a lot of searching that you'll do and find what works best for you, right? Now, after you've gone through that list and you've got your Excel sheet that you're using to track what you're filling out for and what worked best for you, because some of those things may work fine for you, some of them may not work at all, but it's up to you to actually do the work that's in for your business. So step 8, see what the SBA has available during COVID-19 and see if you qualify. So when you click on that for the Small Business Administration relief options, it's going to take you right to this page. So on this page, they have the Paycheck Protection Program, first draw PPP loan, second draw Paycheck Protection Program loans, COVID-19, economic injury disaster loan, and all of these different loans have guidelines that a lot of you guys qualify for, even though you're, you haven't been in business long. So some of them, they start, whereas if your business had to have been incorporated by February 15th of last year, because remember, the whole country pretty much shut down about the 13th, 14th, or a little bit after the 15th. Some of these you can still qualify if your business started uh, by no later than January 31st of 2020. So for those of you who've been in business for a while, this information is good for you because you can go through here and pretty much apply for and receive almost any of these loans. Now, some of them will ask for, your tax returns and what you did. But remember, when the government first rolled this out, a lot of people took advantage of it because they rolled it out so fast. They were just pressured to get money into small business owners' hands. Now, a lot of people who took advantage of that just to get the money, they're actually going to court and, right now for mishandling those funds. And some people received hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they had businesses set up already for a year, 2, 3 years. And then they showed they had this amount of employees because it's going to ask you that. So they actually was fraudulent filling out the forms. But the people that come here on this site, they're not going to do anything like that because, of course, not only are you guys lifelong learners, one of the things that you learn in life is that you're not going to find a way around beating the government. They're going to be able to win. So make sure you just do everything right. All right. So then once that's finished, guys, keep all your information in digital and hard copy formats. All right. Now, for anybody that needs assistance from me filling out any of those different things, you can book an hour for $49. Or when I have scheduled community meetings, that's $19.99 for 1.5 hours. And what happens is I'll go through each form live so that you will get an idea of how to fill that form out. And you can click here to connect with me as well. And when you click that, that's going to take you right to my personal website. And that personal website is going to share with you my ideal client, who I work with, and what my responsibility is to you as a guide. All right, so with that said, guys, we are at the end of our best series for real estate and business funding fundamentals. Make sure that from the website, bestseries.business/business funding, you download Funding Your Business PDF now. But remember, this site is not for you to share with people who haven't come through the website, because you want to make sure that they go through the course by going right to one of the same places that you went to, bestseries.business, where it'll tell them a little bit about what the course is, and they'll be able to register and they'll be able to come on board just like you. All right, so now with that said, the time is 8:33 p.m. We're scheduled for an hour. So if anybody has questions, you can start asking me those questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Those questions that I can't answer because I just don't have that information, they will be written down. And at the end of the month, what happens is I send all of those questions with those answers and resources that you can also investigate to the email that we have on file. All right, so if anybody has questions, you can ask them now. But also, you guys know, for those of you who don't want to ask questions, my email, kenbigblake@gmail.com. You definitely know how to reach me. So you can ask me those questions there, and you will get an email also of all of the people who ask questions through my email. All right, so, and if you do have a question, you can state your name, where you're from, and then proceed.
All right, Ken, this is Felton Wooten. I'm located in Greensboro, and Greensboro, North Carolina. Our business is in Edgecombe County, which is near Rocky Mount, Wilson, and Tarboro.
Okay.
So my question is, as our farm is an LLC.
Okay.
We have a business account, and also we have about 109 acres of land.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation on the best way for us to secure a business loan?
Okay, great. So this, one of the things that, for how long have you been in business? Did you say that?
Right. We formed the business in 2002.
Okay.
Uh, we've not had a lot of activity. So this yeah, we haven't had a lot of activity over the past 15 years. It's more been our income has been around $5,000 a year because we just leased the land out.
Okay. All right. So when did your business start? So let's focus right now on the last 2 years. The
Hmm.
best thing for one is that you have a business account, so you have a relationship at least with that bank. It shows what's been coming in, what's been going out. But what have you been able to make the last 2 years with your business? Was that the
Okay, so all right, so in 2020 when COVID hit, we didn't have a prawn crop, and that's raising freshwater shrimp.
Mhm.
So the only income we had was leasing and hunting. So that was about $4,000. The
Okay.
prior year we had about maybe about $5,000.
Okay.
So now what we're desiring to do is to increase income by growing vegetables in greenhouses.
Okay.
And so therefore, what we're looking at is needing operational funds to increase our income by that kind of endeavor.
All right. And so a key word that you said was operation funds. So when you're filling out the information, operating funds are always good, but you always want to go for expansion funds.
Okay.
And the reason why it's expansion funds, because especially how long you guys have been in business, that's going to help you expand faster, and the banks will feel better about, they know that you're going to expand, which is going to also be putting more people to work, because
Hmm.
sometimes if you look at operational funding, when it's just the operations, they may see that as something that could be, okay, well, how many people do you have, how many people do you have to pay, as far as employees, what is this money for the operations, give us that detail. Even though with expansion, they're going to want to know how you want to do it, but people are apt to give you more, especially the time that you've been in business, for expansion as opposed to operating, which could mean, well, because of COVID, we need some operating funds. But they do have paycheck, the PPP, which we went through on the website when that was up. You will be able to also see there that when you go through those different things and what they're looking for, you'll
Hmm.
see what fits your company the best. What I'll say, when you talk about the leasing, is when you do your business taxes, either you're doing the taxes as a business separate, or whoever is the person responsible, they may be doing the taxes, and it's going to show on their Schedule C. How are you guys doing your taxes? Because that's another way that's going to determine how they're going to distribute as well.
Okay. Okay.
But the most important thing that I like to share with you, Felton, is that they're gonna want to know how your business budget is. So if you can get that stuff together, even when you fill out the form,
Hmm.
there's things that you need to see, because there's more funding out there than just going for banks. And then because you're a farm, you said it was a farm, correct?
Yes.
So because you're a farm, you want to look for loan options and grant options that specifically go with what your crops are and what you're doing. Because when I
Yeah.
hear farm, I think tomatoes, carrots, greens. But one of the things that you said was that you guys also do shrimp.
Yes.
So there might be some grants available just for shrimp. So what you guys need, is what one of the things that I say is that when you have a corporation and you have a number of different people, those people should have a particular job. And one of those jobs should always be research and development. So the person
Mm-hmm.
or the people on those teams, they know your business. And so when they say, okay, we're doing shrimp, let me look up all of the companies across the US and maybe even overseas that are able to give us a grant or able to give us funding for the shrimp portion of our farm.
Mm-hmm.
If those shrimps need to be in a particular type of water, is there any grants out there that assist with whatever you need to put in the water to make the shrimps, the food for the shrimps for the water?
Mm-hmm.
So that person that's assigned on your research development team, those are the types of things that they're looking to do. And the person who's on your funding team, that's the person who you know and trust. That's just like we covered earlier through what we were looking at, an assigned officer who can fill out the information for that funding. Now, are you a nonprofit or a for-profit?
For profit.
Okay, great. So if it was a nonprofit, you'd have somebody that just strictly on your research and development look for grants that were nonprofit. But one of the things that I can't stress enough is not only should you be in it for the long haul, which you guys have been in for the long haul because you incorporated in 2002, but you should be able to uh, you should be able to know your budget. So
Mm-hmm.
normally when I sit on as an advisor, if you go to my website, you'll see that's one of the things I do. When I sit on a board, one of the things that people bring me in to do is to look at their overall corporate structure
Mm-hmm.
and set up those perimeters so that everybody's responsible for a specific thing. And that specific thing that they're responsible for
Mm-hmm.
fits it fits not only their personality, but it fits their skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
So when you break things down like that, then that makes it so much easier. So let's say, uh, I'm not sure exactly what you do in the corporation, but let's just say that you're a farmhand. So as a farmhand, if that's what your strength is, even though you started the business, even though you put up all of the money, even though you gave your hands to everybody else, the only thing that you need to concentrate on is making sure that everything on the farm is working the way it should. You shouldn't have to worry about anything else because every month on a certain day, you're going to have your hour and a half meeting where every person who's responsible for what they're responsible for,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to say, okay, in this meeting here, I'm responsible for uh for finding new resources. So they're going
Right.
to say, this is what I found. This is this. They have 5 minutes, if they even
Mm-hmm.
take that long, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody listens. Then it passes through everyone. Now, the very last or the very first thing that's done is you guys are going to pull up the bank account.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to log in. They're going to have that account against that screen so that everybody can see.
Mm-hmm.
This is how much we brought in. This is what it's going toward. This is what came out. This is what we're saving.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that happens every month. And then
Mm-hmm.
that person who's in that department, which is dealing with the accounting and the finances, they're going to provide on that Excel sheet all of that information because that's something that the banks want, and nobody needs to be in the dark about what's coming in and what's going out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to have it where somebody does the wrong thing and you didn't even notice what's going on. But if you
Right.
have that accountability every month, you can see for that 30 days, 31, 28, 29 days or whatever, what's been going on in the account. And because you guys know that, and because you guys have a goal that you want to hit quarterly and yearly,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to start making those goals because you're going to become more efficient because you know what's going on and everybody plays their part. Those are the things that I do when I come in as an advisor after I look at the process and help set that up. So within that year, you're going to increase your revenue, you're also going to find the different grants first and foremost, and the different loans that help you to expand and help you to get to that point where you can step back, because the goal is for you to be able to step back, let some other people run the company, still have those meetings, and still get what you need to have the freedom and success you desire.
Right.
So what I would suggest, if you go to my personal website, mrkenbigblake.com, you'll see that I have an area up there that deals with resources. So I'm going to go there real quick. And when you see resource guys and click on that, look under business. At this moment, there's 12 items. Those 12 items, you'll see the profit and loss your bankers love. Right? So when you click on that, because some people right now, depending on where your business is, you don't need to pay for Quicken, you don't need to pay for QuickBooks, you don't need all of those fancy systems, because the amount that you make and the systems that you have in place for you to get funding and for you to pay out, you don't need all of that. You just need a simple Excel sheet that you can put that information in, that's going to tell you in January, this was the most this is what we made, what our gross was, and this is what we made after we paid everything out. And that Excel sheet on there will help you guys when you download that you can see how it works.
Okay.
It's simple, it's right to the point. A child can work it. Now, I am working on having all of those things updated, because one of the things that I find out is that sometimes when it comes to Excel, because there's so many cells, people may get uncomfortable or they may click the wrong thing and it throws off the amounts. So I'm going to have it put into where it's more of a form where you don't see all the cells. It's just answer this question. What's that dollar amount? What's that dollar amount? And it'll do all the populating for you. If you know someone who does that, that's fine. If you can send them to me, I'll definitely take care of them. But that's something that I have for this quarter, is anything that I have that's dealing with Excel is going to do all of those things, and it won't look as daunting. It'll just look simpler.
Right.
But it'll come out as an Excel sheet.
Okay. And Ken, I just want to make sure I think it was the page that where I download the manual. I think funding your business.
Okay.
Do I go to, did you say best series /.com business funding? Is that where I go?
There's no .com in it. It's it's best series. I'm going to pull it up, bestseries.business.
Oh, okay, .business.
Right. And then it's /, just think of the name of the course that you were in. And that course was, the main name was business funding.
Okay.
So when you go, so for those who took the other course, it would deal with bestseries.business / the incorporate part.
Right.
But this one is business funding. And so when you go there, you'll be able to scroll down and, all other people can register from there. But you will see the funding fundamentals for your business.
Right. Okay.
Once we learn the fundamentals of something, that's what's going to help us, move ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And then I just want to double check. The password is lowercase.
Don't say the password.
Okay.
Video out there, somebody will say it. So there's not technically a password for that. There's a password for the credit repair channel. Now, when you check the email that you go into, the email that you receive once you filled out the information, that email is going to have the password in it. So the same password that's for business success channel.
Right.
That's the same password for the credit repair channel.
Okay, gotcha. And I do have that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you'll I have to make sure that I don't say that, because then when I edit, I have to where did I say that password at? I gotta edit that out. Do the transition.
Yeah. But Ken, you gave me a real good
Now, Felton,
tip.
I'm serious. I'm funny, just like you keep calling me Ken. You know my name is Big.
Well, yeah, see, I know, and I, for the public, I don't know if you want me to call you Kid or
Big
Big.
is big is my brand.
Oh,
Big is my name. If I can put it on, have it tattooed on my forehead. If I was young and that type of person, it would be on my forehead.
okay, Big.
When I was an iron worker, I had it on my helmet. BIG, real big.
Right.
I'm like, and it was on the front and the back of my helmet. If you wanted me, that's the name you called.
Yeah, and see, and it's funny because I have different people in family that we
Uh-huh.
have nicknames, but
Yeah.
then when I have when we have public forums and I have different people, I say, okay, do I call them their nickname or do I call them their given name?
Right.
Okay,
Well, see, big is actually my brand. So the
right,
big is actually Blake Investment Group.
right.
So that's how I got the name Big, and it was given to me from a lady because my real estate cards, as a broker, said Big Realty, and the BIG was above my head. So
Ah,
right. So
mm-hmm,
when the lady got my card, she was older, and she saw the Big, and then she saw my picture. Even though
mm-hmm,
Blake Investment Group was inside of the Big and in small writing, and it had
mm-hmm.
Realty to the side of it, well, in the middle going across, she just associated the Big with my picture and my name because that's what she could see best. So
Right,
under
right.
it had Ken Blake. And she called me Big so much that by the time I got mad and was going to tell her about herself, uh, she that's when she told me before I could even open my mouth that it should be named Big. And I stepped
Wow,
back and I looked at this lady and I said to myself, she looks to be about 50 years old, but she's in her 70s. She
wow.
she has 14 houses, all paid for. All of her single family homes had a tenant inside of it
Mm-hmm,
that wasn't in the main area of the house. So every house that she bought, she either had a tenant in the basement or a tenant in the attic,
mm.
and they were all paid for. And she still worked every day.
Wow.
And she worked in projects in Chicago. And I'm thinking that this lady is so wise because you would never know that she had the type of money that she had because of
Mm-hmm.
how she was dressed, what she was driving. Her son had to be about 50 and he looked about 80. He had such a hard life. but but so when she said that, it made me think about, you know what, if this lady has gone through this much in her life and she constantly is calling me that from this point forward, that's going to be my name.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Blake Investment Group, building investments globally. So what my
Right.
mission is at this point and for this year is the same mission I've always had, but I just wanted to be able to give a few hours a week to assist people with incorporating, because I think everyone should be incorporated, because if they were incorporated, they be able to save more, not even on their personal taxes, but it'll work out better for them because the government, they're more privy to assisting businesses as opposed to employees.
Right.
And the
Right.
whole tax code and the tax system is set up for businesses. So now if I can help you get incorporated, what's the next thing? You have to be able to receive funding. And if you're going to take care of the funding, then there's some basic principles that you have to do in order to get the type of funding that's going to help benefit you in the long run. Now,
Mm-hmm.
once you're able to be incorporated and recognized, also be able to get the funding and you're doing well, the next thing, the next level is now being able to partner with other business similar to yours or partner with people like mine who also have a business, who also know how to get funding so that you can practice group economics and that partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people who have a different route, that next step will be, well, let me see if I can, take my business and franchise it. So those are all of the different things that I think that, for me, that's one of the ways that you can get success. and that you can get freedom. So when you identify what success means to you and what freedom means, then that's what you want to do, is try to build your business so that you're not a slave to your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, they might leave their job, they got a business, they want to bake cookies, but then they find out they're baking cookies 18 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you going to get the freedom from that?
Right.
And so I just want to make sure that once you really identify what success means to you and what freedom means to you, that's what you want to incorporate in your business for the long term, so that you can actually have time to sit back, relax, and retire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I know we're getting close, but Big, one of the farmers suggested to me that I should create a 501c3,
Hmm.
so that when I go to purchase feed or equipment, I can take advantage of paying less taxes on the particular items. Do you
Well,
have an opinion about that?
yeah, I do. That it makes sense. But this is what I'll tell you. One thing
Okay.
about 501c3s. So for a 501c3 nonprofit, one of the things that you have to think about when you're doing that is that it's not supposed to enrich you. And so what happens is that by you doing it that way,
Mm-hmm.
you're saving on things that's helping your business. So a better thing for him to have said is this, which is going to be covered next month when we go over partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a farm, I have a farm, he has a farm, she has
Mm-hmm.
a farm. Let's all of us together come together with our corporations and form a nonprofit together. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit is going to have certain things, but it's going to also allow us to be maybe the hub that can give to all of these other nonprofits so that they'll save on their feed.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're also going to do with our nonprofit is we'll be able to get grants so that we can teach other people who are interested in farming, whether it's shrimp farming, whether it's, somebody that just likes tomatoes and hot peppers,
Mm-hmm.
people who just like rice. We can put together a school, and part of that school, they're going to come to my farm.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go to your farm for the next portion, the next week of that school during the summer. So
Right.
that way that they're learning to farm, and they're hearing the opinions from different people who are in that corporation. Now that
Mm-hmm.
might be a better way for you to look at it, to save jointly on being able to distribute that feed, because you're also a hub to help distribute and savings to other ones, or find out where those other people are getting their feed from, and use that nonprofit to each donate some land to grow your own feed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the main thing with 501c3s is that they're kind of tricky in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to set one up, because as a matter of fact, for a perfect example, uh, on the business success channel,
Uh-huh.
what I'll do is I'll share with you this page real quick here. So on the business success channel, I have a area that says home, live
Mm-hmm.
webinar experts first, planning your business, incorporate now. But under first, if I'm not mistaken, the trick to making more money. So this here gentleman, Robert Smith, and some call him Bob Smith, he's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the billionaire who went to one of the SBUs. Is that it? SBUs, one of the black colleges,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and he paid, I think, 2 years of all of their debts. So if
Wow.
you graduated from that college, you no longer have a student loan. He paid it
Right.
all off. I mean, hundreds of people. So they don't have a debt. That's one of the things that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also real popular among, people of African American heritage, or Aborigine Americans, which one that we want to call them, or
Mm-hmm.
call ourselves. And so he also had a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though his company outpaced all of his counterparts and made more and won all these awards year in and year out,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that happened is that they said, well, what can we do because of some comments that he made to slow him down? So first thing they did was they looked at his nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to say that he was using his nonprofit to help fund certain things that was in his real business. Now, this is a
Mm-hmm.
game that people play all the time, but it just depends on who the players are and what the economy looks like, and all the other things that the government have to think about when when someone's doing these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's true or whether it's not true, I mean, I'm sure he's smart enough to be able to do things right, but it was a blot on his character.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though it may seem like a good idea, well, I can get this. If I'm buying the seed with my company, it's $100. But if I do a nonprofit and I buy the seed with the nonprofit that I have and I getting it for $50, now I can buy the seed for $50 from my nonprofit or $60 from my nonprofit so that the nonprofit makes $10, but yet I still save 40.
Mm-hmm.
So now when the government decides to say this company is very successful, now let's look into their records. Let's look what's happening with the IRS and how they're doing their taxes. Just like that one gentleman, I believe it was Al Capone. They couldn't get Al Capone on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what were they able to get him on? Tax evasion.
Right. Right.
So that's why when it comes down to doing your taxes correctly, when it comes down to 501c3s, you have to be real careful because there's a very thin line on what's wrong or right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on board. Just like before, if you know anyone who's thinking about getting incorporated, or even if they are incorporated, they're thinking about funding. If they already have been funded, if they want to learn, some of the different ways that we discussed here tonight on, group economics, just send them to bestseries.business.
Mm-hmm.
Once they go there, they'll go through the same process you went through. They'll fill out that form. They'll be able to come to one of these free seminars, workshops, whatever you want to call it. And I can share with them my knowledge, but better than that, I can give them that same PDF that you've downloaded for Incorporate Now, that you've downloaded for Funding Fundamentals,
Mm-hmm.
that can show them those steps. Now, it's really as simple as that. Follow the steps, just follow the steps. Now, there's going to
Mm-hmm.
be other things that's going to come about, but as a lifelong learner, just like one of the things I like to say is that I'm not an expert. I just happen to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at that and you're filling out that information, use your innate ability to make sense of things. And as long as you can rely on that and have a few advisors over here and there, that's going to benefit you in the long run.
Right.
So with that said, I definitely appreciate your time. I'm glad that you were here. I hope you found some information that can, get your company moving towards getting that funding, and just share
Yeah.
with people. That's the best thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was excellent information.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
As always, it's good to see you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
For anybody else, I want you always to remember, put your best foot forward and always think big.